the hardest thing was for me to really put myself into the film. And I frankly tried a bunch of different ways to keep myself out of the film as much as possible. And I was really of two minds about it. As Mark's sister, as someone in the family, I didn't really want to be in the film that much. But as a director, I realized that if there wasn't someone kind of driving the bus and kind of narrating the story and taking people through it, it just became sound and fury. It was too much. Our family was kind of this, carnival, this freak show. And that's not what my family is. So I found that by just putting myself in the story and letting me tell the story, it's almost like I, as a person, had to get out of my way as a director. I felt like I was standing in the way of a really good story, so I just had to get over it, just do it, just put yourself in the film. And when I looked at our family and I saw, just kind of as a filmmaker, if I really stood back, I had a new identity, Mark had a new identity, and there's so many families that try to get back together and start over and try to reinvent themselves, however big or small that reinvention is. I knew that there was a universal issue at the middle of that, despite my pretty unusual, story, Mark's unusual story, the real drama of the film is just those family relationships that we all go through. It's funny, because I work as an editor, and you watch these scenes over and over again, and it's the really tense ones that are the most solid and focused and stable, and I don't know, there's something about the drama where you just hit this zone as a shooter, and he hit it. Sitting for the screen, and I can't see him. But in this film, and part of the reason we got financing, to be honest, early on, is my story is interesting and unusual and unique and whatever, and it's a hook, right? Okay. Mark's story is interesting and unusual and whatever, and it's a hook. But if you look at the film, those two issues really disappear, and they're taken over by more pressing issues. And I like the fact that, well, put it this way, I don't know of any films in which there was someone who was transgender, where that's not the big deal, the big problem that needs to get sorted out in this film. Oh my God, that we have to, what's going on there? And likewise, we probably could have made a film that was just about Mark and his life and this revelation. It would have been this, oh my God, what a fairy tale this is. And I think that the news actually was much, much, much more complex. I think it's one of the things that really pressed on Mark, this new legacy he had to live up to. So yeah, by having kind of this unusual stuff disappear and the stuff we all go through come to the surface, if that's what you're referring to, then yeah, I mean, that's definitely what's going on. And in the process, I like the fact that you kind of end up seeing the world through the eyes of someone transgender. I mean, who would have thought that you would see the world through those eyes? Or who would have thought that you could, debunk this Hollywood royalty story? But I like those ironies, But again, that's the world that I live in. I actually even found that I had to kind of remind people about my situation, these little reminders, part of the way through, and that's a great spot to be in, because I think that with transgender issues, it's kind of time that it's not the problem that needs to get fixed. It's an aspect, we can talk about it, it's, a big part of who I am is not all of who I am. Because my film career has been a bit of hiding as well. I mean, after I transitioned, I had all this knowledge about filmmaking. I'd gone to film school, and I made, all the films that you make when you're a film school student. And then I kind of transitioned and kind of hid out there for a while. I was the editor of a magazine that wrote about filmmaking. So I was kind of, one step away. This is the first feature film I've made, but I've always worked in film, mostly as an editor. Did you ask a second question?
You could make more?
Oh yeah, I'm making more, yeah. Love you making some.
And here's the birthday cake.
Absolutely.
And here's the serve, the
Yes.
serving of the birthday cake. The servista.
Yes, sir.
And I think I'll get one before I leave.
Please do.
All right, thank you.